It's one of the most anticipated movie releases of the year, but Ender's Game is also facing a potential boycott. The movie's based on a book by Orson Scott Card, one of the most successful science fiction writers in America. But some controversial comments he's made about same-sex marriage in the past have Hollywood producers nervous. Here's KSL TV's Carol Makita.
Ender's Game explodes into movie theaters this fall. It boasts some big names: Harrison Ford, Ben Kingsley, Viola Davis. The much-anticipated story of a band of young space warriors, played by Asa Butterfield, Haley Steinfeld, and Abigail Breslin, is already attracting a great deal of attention.
We were having a real problem getting Ender's Game to work as a script.
The original story came from the imagination of Orson Scott Card, but because of his outspoken views on same-sex marriage, some are threatening to boycott the film.
The only reason I'm being attacked for it is because Ender's Game is coming out as a movie. So that was something that was going to get a lot of publicity for the people attacking.
On his website now are past quotes and explanations, including from a 2008 column he wrote in the Deseret News. From a recent LA Times article which questions the possible boycott, Card is quoted from his 1990 article for Sunstone magazine. Laws against homosexual behavior should remain on the books, to be used when necessary to send a clear message that those who flagrantly violate society's regulation of sexual behavior cannot be permitted to remain as acceptable equal citizens within that society. He told me that his views are basically unchanged, but he says his words are at times taken out of context.
I've had no criticism. I've had savage, lying, deceptive personal attacks, but no actual criticism because they've never addressed any of my actual ideas. That's their privilege, but character assassination seems to be the only political method that is in use today. And I don't play that game. And you can't defend against it. All you can do is try to offer ideas, and for those who want to listen to ideas, great. For those who simply want to punish you for not falling in line with their dogmas, there's really not much you can do about it.
Are you concerned that it will affect your work?
No, it won't affect my work. Will it affect the reception of my work? Of course, but not in ways that they expect. My sales go up with such attacks.
Card's popularity goes beyond science fiction. He says from an early age, you couldn't tear him away from a book.
Well, falling in love with reading books was, that was just part of being alive in our house. If it was a book, I would read it.
But it was Ender's Game that put him on the map, first as a short story, then the novel.
I started science fiction for the money, for the practical aspect, but I have stayed with it because it's very liberating and very clarifying for a writer.
So why do you write?
Nobody will pay me to do anything else. That's not a joke.
He says he wrote 20 drafts of a screenplay for Ender's Game, but finally screenwriter Richard LaGravenese's wife, Anne, told him to look at it as a buddy movie.
She gave me a new way of thinking about my own story that made
Ultimately,
it so that
director
I could,
Gavin Hood wrote it, but at 62, Orson Scott Card is about to watch his first and biggest success come to life.
Here we go.
And it was well on the way to becoming a sharp, tight, fast, hard-hitting movie.
Producers are worried about negative publicity and say his personal views about gay marriage are not theirs. At a recent Comic-Con event, Harrison Ford replied simply, "I think we all know that we've won, that humanity has won, and that's the end of the story." So whether it is his next yet-to-be-written book or the controversy surrounding the film version of his first, the words of Orson Scott Card will speak to millions for some time to come. Carol Makita, KSL 5 News.
Kind of expect Darth Vader to pop up in that movie. Ender's Game opens in theaters in Utah and around the country on Friday. And that does it for this week's edition of Deseret News Sunday Edition. I'm Dave McCann. Hope you have a great day enjoying some of this fantastic fall weather. We'll see you back here next week. Music and the spoken word is coming up next.
In this war, if you succeed, you will be remembered as a hero. He's abandoning his entire fleet. He's in command. There's no stopping him now.
Unless we act now, Earth will be